Oh, well. It seems things are getting interesting yet again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Onepeg. As a reminder, I will be live over at twitch.tv/Onepeg as soon as this video is live, so come by and say hi if you feel like saying hi. Today is Monday, May 13th. The battle between Nikita Buyonov, CEO of Battlestate Games, and Arena Breakout Infinite from Tencent has reached a new level of spice. Shortly after Battlestate Games announced that its $250 Unheard edition was going live, Arena Breakout Infinite, among a sea of other game developers, ended up making a tweet joking about their game was going to be free to play, taking a little jab at Tarkov in order to market their game. In retaliation, and probably at one of the worst possible times, Battlestate responded with a tweet saying that people were going to be in and out in about 20 minutes and the game was blatantly plagiarist. Aside from the meme of it all, this left a lot of people scratching their heads because Arena Breakout Infinite is made in Unreal 4, whereas Tarkov is obviously made in Unity, which is C# versus C++. This means that the two engines aren't directly compatible, although anyone with some amount of talent, from what I've been told, can engineer the code to be able to work. Fast forward to when Arena Breakout's beta came live, and Nikita ended up writing a tweet after a series of people, including Logical Solutions and a known COD leaker, ended up stating that the code was being ripped. There were certain tags known as float tags that were being utilized while the game was running in real time that people were pulling using a Unreal Engine sniffing tool, referencing things like Killa and Gluhar and a name of Kojani, which is named after an artist that made Sturman prior to Sturman being Sturman. Now, obviously, none of this is indicative of copied code, but according to Nikita, in a conversation that he had back and forth with Big Fry, this is exactly what was going on. It's not like the code only, it's also gun models, sounds, level design, even some of the props. To which Big Fry said, "I'm open to hearing you out on this over randoms online. Can you prove that models and props were stolen and ripped, not just copied?" Nikita said, "We are investigating," which obviously means that that's not conclusive. "I'm all for finding the truth, but you should really chill on this discussion until you know 100% certain that they stole your code asset, props, etc. We are pretty positive on some cases already. For example, some of the gun sounds," and he references AK-74 sounds and weapon mods we saw stolen too. AK models too, exact level layouts, some of the buildings. We are making this list. In regard to the AK sounds, we know that Tarkov has modeled their sounds, recorded them physically by themselves. There was a dev blog about this from 2018, where they showed a guy walking around with a microphone, and they were in different locations, indoors, outdoors, suppressed, unsuppressed, with an AKM, recording the gun at near point-blank range so that they got accurate sound out of the muzzle when fired. But unfortunately, during the Unheard Edition snafu, where people noticed that the website was getting scrubbed, the dev blogs regarding this were some of the videos that were scrubbed, and the sound design being one of those videos. We can't watch it. They made it private. But I will say, if you are an OG that was around from back in the day, you remember this video. So we know at some level those sounds were hand recorded. If you look at an image of the AKS-74U waveform between the two games, where ABI is on the top and Tarkov is on the bottom, they are extremely, extremely similar. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the asset in this case was stolen. It could be a sound pack of recorded files from an AK from whenever ago being utilized after purchase by Tencent. Now, according to Nikita, just about every single thing in the game, every asset in the game is something that, while scanned, was still proprietary and made by the devs at Tarkov. Kiba being the key modeler of just about every gun in the entire game. Now, I have a very rudimentary understanding of game dev and gun modeling, or game modeling in general, but my understanding is that when it comes to modeling an object, a 3D modeler can do that in 1,000 different ways. The vertices that are used and the way that they've shaped the polygons is different from every single artist to every other artist. What this means is that between two games, two different artists, if they modeled it themselves and it wasn't bought off of a store, it is impossible for those two different artists to model something the exact same way. But Nikita's smoking gun is this 3D model, this image that he posted this morning, a couple of hours ago, where he says it's a match and writes blunder at the top in MS Sans as if he's trying to make a meme. On the left, I assume is Tarkov, and on the right is ABI. Even though these images aren't labeled, everything that they've ever shown us when it comes to modeling has always been in this grayscale form, so I assume that the left is Tarkov. Now, make no mistake, the two models are absolutely identical. So it's very possible that ABI actually stole from Nikita. However, Nikita doesn't elaborate, and he doesn't show anything more than this AK dust cover. And if this rings to be true, this is absolutely stealing. Make no mistake. It is nigh impossible for either one of these two images to be exactly the same if they came from two separate sources, unless the second source stole from the first one. And even in the case of the Kukuri, we know that the Kukuri is a Tarkov asset. It was originally made by Tarkov. Yes, it's a copy of the exact same knife as what is on the Unity store, but it is not the Unity store knife. We've been able to prove that now, repeatedly. The 3D model is unique, provably so. That being said, the court of public opinion is one thing, and it is awful convenient that Nikita is trying to sway the opinion of the populace now that people have been able to play Arena Breakout and people are enjoying it. Not for nothing, but Arena Breakout, even though it's an Unreal 4, seems to be a much more optimized, much more playable game by a much wider variety of people than there are for Escape from Tarkov right now. But the beta test for Arena Breakout was popular, and I think Nikita is shaking in his little booties a little bit. And while the court of public opinion may look at this and go, that isn't right, you guys should be doing better, it doesn't matter for us. Consumers are going to consume. People are going to play the things that they want to play. What really matters is legal recourse. And in this case, if Nikita is saying what he believes, at least, to be true, then he should be able to pull what Nexon pulled against Iron Mace. And that is a DMCA takedown request on Steam for the video game. And when it comes to DMCA takedown requests, it only has to look verifiable. And in this case, if they can actually prove them side by side and show that the models were actually ripped, which again is possible, you just have to have a little bit of talent to do it. If they can prove that it's ripped, a DMCA takedown should be a matter of an afternoon worth of paperwork for them and their lawyers to levy on Steam, and we should see ABI taken down in a literal matter of weeks. Otherwise, while frustrating, Nikita's just blowing smoke. And to be honest, if Tencent were to file a counterclaim to say, no, we didn't actually steal it, that means that BSG is going to end up having to fight the lawyers of Tencent in U.S. court, which might not be something that BSG can afford right now, or ever. Considering that Tencent is the 19th largest company in the world, valued at $448 billion. I think BSG would have a hard time. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this one. Thanks so much for coming and checking it out. Once again, if you wouldn't mind subbing the channel here, that would be amazing. Maybe even hit the bell if you're feeling frisky. Otherwise, come check me out over at twitch.tv/onepeg, or maybe even follow me on Twitter at onepegmg. Thank you so much for lending me your eyeballs, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.